Welcome to the Cool Fireman Podcast, a virtual firehouse kitchen table with Matt, Adam, Brian, Doug, and Freddie, where they discuss everything that matters in today's fire service. Now let's get to the show.
This is too much.
Or the listener's bell.
Enough is too much.
Purchased on May 28th, and it doesn't fucking work.
Whoa. All right, let's get into this. We're back. The Cool Fireman Podcast.
I look away and I look back and the red light's on. Next thing you know, we're recording.
Doug, Brian, and Matt. I'm tricky like that. Tricky.
Let me, I came on the show and I was topless, boys and girls. It is humid as Satan's ass crack around here. And I have been outside working. I went outside. I came in. I cooled off. I changed. I was waiting for the podcast to start. Burley says, Douglas, the horses are out. I was like, fuck. So we go put the horses back up. We just picked up another horse yesterday. Another horse. And that one is one of our one gelding is not getting along. He's a bully. So he's pushing her around, so she keeps running through the fence. So we just locked him up. He's incarcerated right now. So
not incarcerated.
And I also went to the farm swap, and we got some more chickens, and I got 2 more turkeys. I got 2
So what did you
turkeys.
swap? Are you
nothing?
Like, did you? Oh,
when you
It's
have a
just a
lot of
farm
turkeys,
sale.
what is that? What would you call them? A flock of turkeys?
They're
A gaggle of turkeys?
A gaggle.
I think it's a gaggle.
A gaggle of turkeys.
why don't you look it up?
Nah,
I got a Royal Palm. I always wanted one of them. It's a pretty white turkey, and I got a Narragansett.
All right, just when we thought that this was
We had to get all of them because about a week ago, Mr. Fox decided to show back up and kill 18 of my birds. 18. It was fucking massacre. Dead chickens everywhere.
Dude, can you imagine that fox just like in the corner, just picking his teeth? Like, oh,
Yeah.
that was a feast. Yeah.
And my pussy ass rooster, I'm glad he died because he didn't do shit
we
to
go.
defend.
Oh, damn. That's because he's too fat and happy, dude. You treat him too well.
Bitch boy.
What's the football guy's name? The quarterback that did all the cockfighting?
Oh, Michael Vick. No, not Michael Vick did dog fighting.
Yeah, you need to get Michael Vick in there, and he'll get your rooster treated right.
He was dogs, not chickens.
All right, topic. 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes in. Haven't even got to what the topic is today. So, what are we going to talk about today, boys? We ask our listeners to send us feedback and also topics for episodes for us. And so we have a couple that have gotten sent to us via email. We've had a couple sent to us via Spotify. And so we are going to do that today. Doug, I know that the people aren't going to hear this in the back if you can just mute, my ADD does not allow for. Oh my gosh,
that fan is.
Yeah, it's like a white noise in my.
There you go.
All I have is the ceiling fan. I'll cut it off.
Oh no, it just sounds like white noise. Anyways,
It does. It was
so the topics for today. So number one topic, it came from the end of last week when we were talking about, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago when we were talking about who sacrifices more. We were talking about fire wives and then the women that are in the fire service and their husbands that are at home, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. It goes both ways. So Rodney, he posted a text or a comment on our Spotify a week and a half ago. So this was a couple weeks ago. And Rodney says, can you discuss the difference with the levels of ranks and duties within that sometime? I'm a volunteer in a small community. So our question to Rodney was, what is that? And so we're going to define that in what we think it is because he never responded to us, which is okay. So that
He probably never knew. I don't think they get notified on Spotify that we replied, but that's okay. At least I don't
have a reply here, so I must not have replied. So sorry, Rodney. He's gonna be listening to this and be like, "I never got shit." But we did talk about it on last week's podcast, so I guess that's where that's where we kind of discussed it. Anyways, Rodney, It's all good. He made the comment, can you discuss the difference with the levels of rank and duties within that sometimes? So what's that? That is who sacrifices more. That's the name of that episode when we talked about, who sacrifices more, the people at home, or me. Do I sacrifice more for my own career, if you will? So that's the first thing that we're going to discuss. And what I liked about it, Brian, was your kind of like your response to me reading that 2 weeks ago. You were like, ooh, that would be a good topic just to talk about for an episode. So we'll start there and see how long we go. If we go the length with this comment, then we'll just use the next comment for the next episode. But the next comment came from, you would think that I would be ready, from Squawk. So we had brought Squawks up as well. Can you please make an episode about fire department hobbies and free time activities? So we'll go over that if we have time, Squawk. But if not, we'll make that our next episode. So anyways, for Rodney Bryan, what struck a chord with you?
We're going to do housekeeping?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Wow, look at me.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Holy cow. So that's going to be our topics. Yes. Holy moly. I am sorry. I've got a billion things going through my brain. All right. Housekeeping.
Folks, it's time for housekeeping.
Are you even going to take me to dinner first, man?
You dog. All right. I think that's the first time I've forgotten all to do housekeeping
Everything.
completely. Okay, so Patreon. Douglas, what do we have for Patreon?
He said, hold on, I got to unmute.
I have to unmute. It's my Mac fan. For those listening at home, I am having microphone issues. I ordered a new cord because my rabbits chewed through my cord, and the new cord don't work. So my microphone still don't work. So I'm talking on the Mac speaker, so you hear the thing in the background. Anyway.
They're not going to hear it, though. It'll be fine.
Okay. We got a Will Long. We got a Joshua D. Smith, or maybe D. Smith, D-E, capital S. Cooper Googe, Goodge, and Luke B. as a new engineer subscriber. So thank you guys. We appreciate everything you're doing for us.
Hey, what do you think the B is? So I kind of have a little bit of intel just because I looked at the back end of it. But could it be Luke Bryan? Do you think that Luke Bryan listens to our podcast?
It could be the
1,000%.
Well, it's not, because I think the guy's name is Luke Bruce. Dude, how rad is
So you
that?
still got two first names.
Two first names. I don't know if we could trust you, Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to give a little small shout out to Joey Smallwood because I finally shipped his box to him yesterday or day before. Yes, day before, I guess it was. It was yesterday morning. I'm sorry. It's been in my truck. I'm sorry, but it's on the way. It's supposed to be there, I think, Monday.
Yeah, that was for the Thin Line Rock Station
Giveaway
burn box that we put out for them. Yeah, so yeah, you should be getting that soon, Joey. Benjamin Fry got the June Patreon perks. He was the winner there, so he should have that in his possession. We are going to do a wheel of names really quick. Because we need. So next week we're going to be recording and we'll be doing the Patreon perks. This week we're going to do a turnout drill. So let me share my screen so everybody can see that I'm not.
Yeah, so this one drops Monday, and then July 6th, that drop will be the perks giveaway.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. All right. So as you're listening to this, this is going to be for a turnout drill for the next week. So I'm going to hit shuffle a couple times, and then we're going to go.
And we're going to dress patriotic for next week's episode.
Ooh, there you go. Hey, Ron. Sophia Williams. All right, cool. So I will reach out to you, Sophia. I'll give you 3 questions, and then if you would be so inclined to do it. If not, if you don't want to do it, no big deal. We'll just move on or just not do a turnout drill. So let us know. I'll send you an email, and we'll get that going. Very cool. Let me stop this. Stop. Okay.
Are we still doing the perk stuff? Pre-gaming?
Yeah, so big shout out, of course. What?
I got a little funny to tell you guys about when you get done.
Okay. Doug and his stories. I mean, it's gotten worse. It's almost like
This one's about his alligator, but go ahead.
He's got like dementia or something. All right. So big shout out to Little Station 5, Quinn and his dad Travis and his wife Rebecca. They are putting together July's Patreon perks box. So they haven't told us what's going inside of it. And so it's going to be a surprise for all of us. But we will roll that wheel of names next week. And that will drop. That episode will drop when? On the 6th. So it'll be just after 4th of July. And and then you will get whoever wins that one will get the box from Little Station 5. So they wanted to send out a little message that Little Station 5 is more than a small town in Ohio. LS5 can be anywhere and for everyone. Anyone who is dedicated to fire prevention and promoting the fire service can be part of Little Station 5. And that is from Quinn and his dad, Travis. So, yeah, we are super stoked to always be in collaboration with those guys. Got to meet him at FDIC. It was really rad. And we are loving watching Quinn and them do what they're doing on social media. Super fun. So go follow them on TikTok and Instagram. Little Firefighter. The OG Little Firefighter is what he is. Did you have something in regards to Patreon, Doug, or something else? Okay, something else. All right, so moving on, we still do have merch, although the internet's doing its internet thing, and we have like 30 orders from fraudulent people, and now we're backed up with banks trying to get their money back, and we're going to obtain fees. So I've kind of found a way to curb that. I think somehow I had to void. Dude, it's craziness. But we still do have merch for now. The Cool Fireman. .com. You can find shirts, sweatshirts, hats, mugs, the whole deal. So that really just kind of helps out the podcast. All that money that we obtain from that goes right back into it. So just to spread our reach. Sponsors, Unky Seasoning. Adam's not here today, but I know he's super stoked. Got some new seasonings coming out. He sent some people that are return buyers of his seasonings and just randomly sent out bottles and looking for feedback on what they think. He wants them to give them hey, this is what I would name it. So you might have your hand in naming one of Unky's new seasonings, which is really cool. Do we know? And so he will be at Operation Yellow Tape with Kenny Mitchell on October 3rd. That is going to be the Operation Yellow Tape number 5. I think it starts at 8:30 and ends at 5:30. It's a whole day of fun. What do you got, Doug?
Nothing. I was saying it's 5 o'clock or October 5th.
3rd.
It's 3rd. It's October 3rd.
Yeah.
And it's OYT 5. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah. I was saying OYT 5. That's what I was saying.
Oh, boy. Oh, yeah. Kenny's going.
So, hey, as far as on the Unky's thing, Unky has a seasoning coming out in cahoots with Kenny. And the one that he's sending out to sample is a completely different one, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Do we know the base of that? Is it barbecue? Is it?
We have no idea.
Okay. They are keeping it completely under wraps.
Yeah, on both of them. I don't know what either of them is. So anyways, go to unkyseasoning.com and get you some seasonings. He's got a lot of great stuff coming up, so we'll do a quick promo for Unky's.
From the firehouse to your house, Unky's Seasoning packs bold, firehouse-tested flavor into every meal. Whether you're grilling, roasting, or just sprinkling it on your favorite snacks, our blends turn everyday eats into unforgettable bites. Pick your flavor, shake it on, and taste why it's Firehouse approved. Go to unkyseasoning.com.
Awesome. And Tom of the Burn Box, I know my Burn Box is coming, I think soon, or did it already come? The FD Collectors Club is here, and Brian is showing the coin. Where is that from?
This one is from St. Johns County Fire Rescue. I don't know. Full transparency, I opened it Ponte Verda Beach, but it's got a shark on it. Ponte Verda Beach?
Ponte, yeah.
Ponte? And then Bellevue Fire Department Workhorse. Look at this stallion on there.
I think it's Bellevue, Washington.
That thing is sick. And look at the hazmat, all the 704 placards. Hey, shout out to this, the 704 NFPA 704. Found this out on the Carolina Fire Watch. Little selfless plug for ours. Originated in Charlotte because of the 704 area code. Had no idea.
How about that?
No way.
Yeah. Yep. How about that? After a hazmat-related incident fire in Charlotte as a result of a chemical fire. So.
Oh, no way.
Yep, we do a segment called this month in North Carolina Fire Service history, and our North Carolina historian dropped that little hint. So, had no clue.
Well, there you go. There's a little tidbit for our listeners. I didn't know that.
Burn Box is just shipped. You just got your shipping notification for that.
Okay, that's what I got. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So that's coming, and I can't wait to see what's in it. If you've been on the fence, please go get your Burn Box. It's about $60 for anywhere from $120 to $150 worth of stuff. So,
hey, let me do this real quick. They're also including this month stickers of these. I don't know if this is a new thing that Tom's doing in FD Collectors Club, but when I opened this up and we were recording for Patreon, but and then we immediately started recording the show. both of these this month have many versions of the sticker of the exact same coin.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really sick.
Yeah, I thought that. I got him. I was like, is this a sticker for each one of these? That's pretty cool. So he's going to include stickers with the coins and stuff. That's pretty neat.
Nice.
I don't know, but if he is, that's another amazing reason to
for sure.
join the VIP club.
All right. Very good. Well, there you go. Lots of reasons why to order that up. So let's do a quick promo for the Burn Box.
Brought to you by the Burn Box, the #1 firefighter subscription box. The Burn Box celebrates firefighter products and firefighter-owned and operated businesses. Start today and receive a monthly box of firefighter apparel, gear, and tools. Check them out at theburnbox.com.
Very good. One last plug for Patreon. We love our community here. I've talked about how, dude, our social medias are just blowing up. It's crazy, which is super awesome. But our real community is the people that are listening right now. You that are listening to this right now, and then also Brian kind of put this into my brain just a second ago when he had mentioned that we were recording for Patreon. So Patreon, we did a behind the scenes for today. We're going to post that today or tomorrow with Brian and I. And so the only way that you see that is you pay the $2 a month and become an engineer subscriber. We pushed it a little bit last week and we got a couple subscribers. So we really appreciate you guys. It's $2, but it adds up, man. Like we're already up to like almost 35 people. That's like $70 a month right now that we can try to put back into the podcast and make this thing, expand our reach. So last but not least, moment of silence. We have 34 firefighter fatalities in 2026 so far. Nobody that's new on the U.S. Fire Administration page since our last recording, but do you guys have anybody that's near and dear to your heart? And
I do not.
They're shaking their heads no. So let's that doesn't account for people that are dying off duty and unrelated, and there's so many other deaths that happen all the time. So that's what our moment of silence is for as well. So let's go ahead and give a moment of silence for those who may have lost. All right. Well said. All right, folks. 17 minutes in. That might have been our longest one
ever.
That's okay. We
don't have a modern one, but a few days ago was the anniversary of one of ours. We lost Alicia Monahan. She was doing a Swiftwater class down in Carolina, instructing that. It was deemed a line of duty death. So that was, I think, 3 years ago now is when we lost Alicia.
Yeah, wow. And last week, Matt, you thought one was in Carolina, but it was actually a Charlotte firefighter who died down in South Carolina. So.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So let's move it on.
So you had asked me what I thought about that segment. And if you go back and listen to last week's segment where you mentioned, I was like, hey, that'd make a great show. You had made a comment, and I'm not going to lie, it kind of, I don't want to say pushed my button, but it made me want to reply. Not it pushed it in a bad way, but made me want to respond because so many people think, and I started to respond, and I'm like, no, we just need to spend time here. We need to come back to this because it was like, hey, there's this preconceived notion that if you work, in the admin world, you get to go home at 5:00. And then I was like, I don't know about that. And then you're like, well, it depends on the size of your department and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yes, but no, right? Like there's still on-call status. There's still, my phone rang today already for work. And you answer the phone and you deal with things. So, and then heaven forbid you are a volunteer because you're never off, right? And I'll just say this. I was telling somebody yesterday, I've been in the fire service now 28 years, and the cross section of the different positions that I've had, everything from, a volunteer to county fire marshal to my current role as deputy chief, my phone has never not rang when I was at work. It has never not rang. And for a variety of different reasons. There was a time when I was county fire marshal that I was always on call, but 2 days a month. That's it. And I've said it a couple times here on the show that, that at one point that job almost cost me my marriage because of just having to constantly be available, to be able to go, and how I envy. Yes, it sucks that you may get pulled and forced Mando for 48 hours, but when you leave, you leave. You're not tied to that phone. And I get it. You're subject to call back, but you're not, how can I say this? If heaven forbid, and I had this, right, where you get a second alarm fire and maybe they call you, but if you didn't answer your phone, it's like, oh, I didn't have my phone with me. You're not bound by policy to be on call. You're subject to on call, right, or call back. But if you're like, man, I was on the boat, I was, 20 miles offshore, I couldn't come back. You're not bound to be able to respond within 30 minutes. You're not bound in that time to say, and look, I'm not a drinker. People know that. I don't drink. But it takes away your freedom to be able to do that. Your family. I can remember going to the beach, walking across the dunes, and my phone ringing. And look, I drove with my family, and this changed it very early on as county fire marshal. Here we are, we're going to the beach, young kids, 5 and 3. And it was like, we got to turn around. Dad's got to go back to work. And it was like on a Saturday at 11 a.m. And it's like,
that's brutal.
It is so brutal. Okay. But that's okay. That's okay. And don't take this the wrong way. But there's this preconceived notion that Chief's going home at 5 o'clock. Right?
Sure.
And he rides around in the air-conditioned car. Right? And that's and we've talked about a lot of times, the power of that perspective. Right? Oh, man, I wish they knew what that was like. Right? To have your kid look at you when he just gets to the beach, and you got to put him back in that car seat and listen to him cry for 30 minutes because you've got to go back to work.
Yeah, that's rough, dude. That's
that. And so, when you talk about that, and those were things I wasn't ready for, right? Like, life has a way of teaching you lessons. And it got to the point of where it was like, hey, babe, I need to drive separate. And my wife, who likes a drink, couldn't drink either. So it didn't just affect me. It affects the whole family. Because I had to drive my work truck separate so that way they could stay at the beach, but then she couldn't have a drink because now she can't drink and drive home. Like, people don't realize that it's not just you who, and that's why I said last week, that's why I asked that question. Because even for those who don't work shift, it affects the whole family more than what because of what it is. So I ran it long enough right then.
No, you did fine. And you could talk about it for hours, I'm sure. Oh, excuse me. For sure. It's super important. But this is what I'll give you first. Is well done, because you're not divorced. So you obviously recognized that there was an issue. We've talked about this, right? We've talked a lot about mental health on this podcast. And, it's a hot topic across the country right now with firefighters and first responders, and really just in general, I feel like, we just got a peer support dog in our department, which is super rad.
We're close. We're really close to getting ours.
Yeah, 24/7 handler. He comes to work with them. It's, we see Oro and we're like, what's up, dude? Like, we had one guy walk up and he's like, yes, I'm just starting a 96-hour shift. Like, this is what I needed to fill my cup, dude, and it was super rad. So we're talking about it. So this is what I want to say to you, Brian. It's like, well done, because you are not, and you took care of your family, and of course this year, you vowed to yourself and to your family that you were really going to do faith, family, then fire, and that's good. And so the word I'm going to use is balance. I'm sure you recognize that there was an issue, or your wife told you there was an issue, and then you acknowledged, and then you actually acknowledged it. Because let's say this: how many guys and gals out there are the kind of type where they don't have to answer that phone, but they do? So many, dude. I'm one of them. I just love helping people. If they call me, I need this, of course I'm going to do it. But you do it as a sacrifice to your own balance. You know what I mean? And so I love that word, that you recognize it, you acknowledge that there was an issue. Like, you didn't have to, right? There's probably a lot of guys out there that are like, okay, wife, like I have a career. All right. You know what I mean? Right. And he's basically telling that woman, or vice versa, that my job is more important than you. And so it sounds like, maybe there's more to the story here, Brian, that you can kind of share, but it's, maybe it didn't happen overnight. Maybe it's like a balance that kind of comes over time. And it's kind of like you kind of slowly wean yourself off of that bullshit train of always being available, even though you don't have to. You know what I mean? And that's kind of my question to you, because I know your personality. I've been friends with you for 3-4 years now, which is crazy how fucking fast time goes. Sorry, Rhett. I had to get a sorry Rhett in here, before 25 minutes. And so I know you, right? And so one thing that they're talking about across the country with mental health stuff is that the hardest thing that you do is look at yourself in the mirror and actually be honest, right? 1,000%. And so I can see Brian right now looking in the mirror and going, did I really have to answer that call? Right. And you want to, because you want to help. That's like our career and service and helping people, and I know that's in your heart, but it's like, it's also in your brain, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you can't turn it off. And you're like, sorry, babe, I got to answer this. And maybe at the same time she's going, but do you? You know what I mean? Did you have to pull us off that, off that beach that day? And I'm not saying it in a negative way.
No, 100%.
I'm saying it in a relative way. Like, I think there's 99% of the people out there that can relate to that. And we're going to have everybody, because I'm going to post this and people can be like, what? How hard is it to just turn off your phone, right? Everybody has a different personality. Everybody has a different modality as to add to their balance.
You have to remember, as county fire marshal, I couldn't turn it off. It was my job.
So there's that, right? There's the guys that are really, let's just say, legally bound per your contract with the city or county or the state, whoever you work for, right? And you have to have that phone on your hip.
Yeah.
So you should be getting paid, right? Okay. There's a whole nother, that's a whole nother can of worms, right? So now you're actually on duty. You're on duty. You're off
all the time.
You're off at home with your family, but you're actually not.
Always. This weekend, right now, I am subject to callback. So administratively, we have on call. That's why I said I took a call this weekend. Right. We take rotating call duties for administrative functions. A big call pops off. I was supposed to get off early yesterday to come home before my family got home. And I pulled in the driveway 15 seconds before they did at about 25 minutes to 7 p.m. There was no getting off early on a Friday. We're recording on a Saturday. There was no getting off off early. Right. And then where was I at Father's Day weekend? Where was I at? I was in Vegas in a board meeting, right? And so not with my family. And I don't say that like, yay me, but I say that to your point. In fact, shout out to my sister Lee. We were chatting this morning on the phone. Most firefighters are addicted to service, right? Doug volunteers and volunteers with softball. He loves it. He absolutely loves it.
Had this talk with him the other day.
It's a dopamine hit.
Yeah,
right.
Had this talk with him the other day. Either or both of your assistant coaches, none of us have kids on the team. We are here because we love this, because we love you, and we want you to succeed.
Yeah. It's the 80-20 rule, right? Like I just mentioned this. I mentioned that Sunday in our chapter presidents meeting as I met with presidents from all across the country, and I said, it's 80-20, right? There's 20% of the people doing 80% of the work, right? Matt, you do that for the show, right? Mm-hmm. We come in and you're carrying 80% of the load while we're here 20% of the time. And that's because we're busy doing other stuff, right? Like, and you get it. And we've talked about that. And so I guess what I'm saying is that for his question, that is that most fire families, if you're honest with each other, to that point, the conversation I had with my wife, and you asked about that, if I would dive into it, it was basically like, you got to tell me, right? I cannot read your mind, right? And I shook my head so hard, literally and figuratively, when I read Adam's book, when he says the biggest fire you'll fight is the one behind your own door. It's because it is trying to find balance, right? It's trying to serve all these different things. It's your own mind, right? To that point, when you're juggling all these things, 90% of us are going, we're doing this for everyone but me, right? we're doing this for everybody but me. We get gratification. And like I said, it's the dopamine hit that we get for service. We come back to the fire station. We leave that fire call, that medical call, and we feel good that we've done it. But we're darn sure not doing it for the money, right? Because if we were, we'd be making more money at it, right? I mean, there are certain professions that make more, right? A lot of people go to medic school because it's about the money. They can make more money. But at the same time, like, there's other professions that we could do that make more money. We could be a plumber. We could be an electrician. We could do other things. But it is about service. So where I wanted to go back to mainly on this particular topic was make sure that people understand that I want people to slow down. And I know they're not going to see it on the internet, right? Unless we magic clip this and we share this. But I want people to slow down and be more empathetic to other people's positions and understand that their perspective is not always valid. We've mentioned that a couple of times, right? No one, how can I say this and not sound like a jerk? Someone listening to this may have been a captain if they're a battalion chief, but it's been a long time since they've been a captain. So they're like, I know what it's like to be a captain. It's like, yeah, but you did that 10 years ago. Yeah. That was a different generation sitting across the table from the current station captain who's talking to a different group. And so it is a different way of talking to those there. And the same for on up the chain, right? And so I think that the power of perspective is different. And sometimes we need to slow down and listen to understand and not listen to respond. And if people will just be empathetic, right, and not entitled, this world would be a whole lot better place across the fire service. And when I say this place, I'm talking about the fire service as a whole. Notice I didn't say a career department, a volunteer department, anything like that. This place, the fire service, would be a lot better.
Yeah. No, I think you nailed it. I mean, I think the whole world, and that's what people say. And I'll go a little religious here.
Yeah, that's just global.
That's what people say when they say Jesus loves you. You know what I mean? Like Jesus leads with love. You know what I mean? Be empathetic. And I think what you're talking about too is being humble, having a perspective that you don't share, having an opinion or someone having an opinion or a perspective that you don't share should be okay. We're all human beings. If we were all had the same exact thought, right? If we all have the same exact opinion about how terrible would this world be? It would just be like robots, right? God gave us free will to make decisions on our own for a reason. Okay. But the message is, and oh my God, I just listened to this sermon, so fucking good, about the parable of the prodigal sons, and talking about the red thinks that the blue is shitty, and the blue thinks that the red is shitty. And Jesus is here to say that you're all shitty. You know what I mean? Lead with love. Lead with love. But in whatever perspective or opinion that you have, that's what you do, is you lead with love and have empathy, like you said, and be a little humble. Like, that's what makes this world a better place. And I think that that's exactly what you just said, Brian, and prove me wrong, or, you know.
No. I think you're right. I do think it's okay. I'm not saying you should stand around and sing Kumbaya. And I think it's okay to not agree, right? But I don't think we should sit there and just argue. Like, it's okay if your battalion chief or your station captain says, "Hey, this is what we're doing." But I had a captain who sat me down and said, "Well, you know, this new policy is coming out, and we got one of three choices: either we can like it, we can leave, or we can shut up and get to work." And he said, "For right now, we're going to shut up and get to work while you decide whether you're going to do number 1 or number 2, or if you're going to stay at number 3." That was it. And that's the reality of it. That's the free will, right? We're going to be empathetic to the decision, right? But the reality of it is, and this is the other thing too, we're in a world where we don't and can't slow down enough, and we don't get enough information to have a true perspective from that position. You'll never truly understand the fire chief's decision, right? He can try to explain, or she can try to explain, but you'll never truly understand it. You never will, because you weren't in the entire meeting. You weren't in the decisions. You're not in their head seeing everything, the omnidirectional decision.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to do that. You may get 75% clear, right? It may not be pitch black. You may have a 75%, clarity there, but you'll never have 100%. And I go back and say that's where we owe it to people to give them as much information and clarity as we can.
Yeah. There was a story. I have a quick story. We were in the fire engine, and the engineer. So I was a fireman sitting backwards, and the engineer just starts kind of, hey, we should do this. Hey, we should do that. And the captain's just, one of my best friends in the department, just kind of like, okay, just being humble, just whatever. Like, and then later on, he goes, man, I can't wait till that guy promotes. Because, what I mean? And it's talking about exactly what you just talked about having the perspective of actually sitting in the seat. You know what I mean? And it's funny too. One of my buddies just got promoted to captain, and he had been an acting captain for like 3 years, and I said, okay, welcome to the big leagues. He goes, well, I've already been, acting, in the position for 3 years. And I go, dude, it's totally different. The responsibilities of always actually having a crew that you're now responsible for, and just the responsibilities of as a full-time captain is just different, right? And you can go up and down like to the battalion chief rank. And I'm sure there's battalion chiefs, in your department, in your town, Brian, that are going to those captains like, I had this battalion chief had to make this decision. Now the captain is kind of like, or the lieutenant is questioning him, and you're like, man, I could wish that you could sit in my seat. We've had that conversation too, right?
Yeah.
That might go back to episode 55, right, Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
so,
welcome.
but to kind of like, unless you had something else, Doug, like to go back, it's just different. It's the same. It's this. You have to have the same mentality if you're gonna survive, and you have to have balance. Whether you're a fireman, an engineer, a captain, a lieutenant, a battalion chief, a deputy chief, whatever. Because do you answer that phone? Do you really have to answer that phone? I love that question. That's a loaded question, I think. You know what I mean? And we've all been there. Right?
It's rank dependent.
On what? Well, okay. So you're just saying so that was part of that question about responsibilities. It's not just rank.
Yeah. Every step you take up is more responsibility you're incurring voluntarily because you choose to do that. So to play devil's advocate, the lowly fireman like me, I don't give a shit how much you have to do because you asked for that. I don't care that you have to answer the phone on Saturday or you have to respond in on a Sunday, or I don't give a shit because me, boots on the ground, is doing it every shift day. I don't care. You asked for that. You need to be prepared to say, you know what? This is a sacrifice I'm willing to make, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And not complain about it.
And no I'll doubt. Ask you this question. Is it because now as a battalion chief or, let's just say the white shirt mafia, like Brian likes to say, right? They have their decision-making is a little bit heavier, right? It's like a little more administrative, that can affect different things, right? So is that what you're saying is like as to why they have more of a responsibility to answer that phone?
Yeah, absolutely. It's task level versus command level. Task level stuff, guys are out there doing it every day and every night, 24/7, 365. And the decision-making, like you said, the higher you go up, the more you're involved and the more pieces come with that decision, the more pieces of data you collect to make that decision, whatever the case may be. But the common man and woman out there in the field and operations, they don't care that you have to answer the phone on Saturday or Sunday or July 4th or Christmas or whatever. They don't give a shit. They don't care.
That's going to be a majority of those comments on social media is like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't answer my phone. I turn it off. Like if work calls and I'm off duty, I don't answer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But there are those people out there, i.e. me. Like I take on a lot of responsibilities at work. I love doing that. Some of it has to do with association stuff and T-shirts. I'm in charge of T-shirts that people will call me when I'm off duty, or they need a password for their EPCR. I don't need to answer.
That's different.
That's different, but it's the same. I'm still answering the call. Okay, I'm not answering the phone and going, yes, push the button. Push the button. If you don't push the button, somebody's going to die, right? I'm not making those types of decisions.
Lost. Great pull.
I'm not making those types of decisions, but I'm still answering the phone, Doug.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, as you go up in rank, those things increase because nobody calls me on my off days and say, hey, I need this, I need that, because that's not what we do. Operational level people, there's a new ass in the seat every day. So they don't call me on my off days and say, hey, unless it's something's missing from the unit. Hey man, did y'all see so and so? Oh yeah, I forgot to put it in pass along. We took it off. It was broken. Whatever.
Sure.
Like task level people, we don't get involved with that shit.
So in my department, we have area responsibilities. Like we have a fireman that's in charge of hose. We have a fireman that's in charge of nozzles. We have a fireman that's in charge of ticks.
Yeah,
There's a fireman that's in charge of SCBAs. And so sometimes those things just bleed to off duty. Again, we're gonna have a lot of comments that say like, "Fuck that! I ain't getting paid. I ain't on duty. I ain't answering the phone." But what we're here to talk about is the type of personality that will answer the phone, right? And
again, I think that's when you accept that job title. That comes with it, and you have to accept that. And you don't get to complain about it because you accepted it willingly. Yeah. Now, there may be some outlier cases where people are forced into positions and that kind of thing, but at that point, you are still responsible to the organization and all the people that it encompasses to answer that phone if need be.
Or, Doug, you go back to what my captain said. You either like it, you don't, or you shut up and get to work until you make a decision based off of one or two.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. That goes back to what that captain said. Now, I want to go back to what Doug said about, the levels of responsibility and move up and them not caring. 100%. Never have I ever, talked about getting a phone call on the weekend and somebody at the kitchen table go, "Oh, man, Chief, I'm sorry I called you." Nobody said that, and I didn't expect them to, because, again, they were at work. And to your point, 100%, Doug, that is my responsibility. Even the guy who called me as I was going across the beach dune was working physically harder than me at that moment. Yeah. And I get it. And
it doesn't mean we're not sympathetic to it. It just means
1,000%.
Sorry, bro.
But you know what? If I come in with a coffee cup that says "screw your day off," just know that you're not the only one, right? That's what I'm saying. Everybody.
I need to order one of those.
Everybody in the fire department has responsibilities, right? We're forced just in a different way. And again, that goes back to that power of perspective, right? I'm not, Brian Kelly of the Cool Fireman Podcast is not asking for sympathy. What I'm asking for is understanding, right? Yes. That at 5 o'clock, my phone doesn't shut off. Right? I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just asking for understanding that it's okay to call me. My wife gets it. Everyone else does. But it goes back to that same point. And to your point, Matt, you had made a comment or someone else had about answering the phone. If I'm sitting down with you and you and I are in a meeting and Doug calls me from a station and wants me to ask me a question, I'm not answering the phone.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's rude of me to answer the phone, right? So if Station 3 is calling me and you come over for a meeting to talk T-shirts, right? You're like, "Hey, Chief, we need to talk about this bid I got, blah, 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 blah." And Doug calls me. And let me tell you what's going to happen. Been there, done that. Been in the station back in the day, right? Doug's sitting there. He's trying to call me about a training, whatever. And he goes, "Blankety blank, Chief Kelly, never answers the phone," right? I think that's what I'm asking for, too. I'm asking for the perspective of sometimes on a Tuesday at 9 a.m., I'm not sitting there shuffling paper, right? Because that's the perspective of the lens that they may not see. They have no clue that Engine 2 was at headquarters for a meeting with me, and it would be rude because if Doug came over to talk training and you called me to talk T-shirts, it's a balance, right? But what I owe Doug is a phone call back. Sure. I owe Doug a text back that says, when I'm done, "Hey, sorry, was in a meeting. Are you free?" And I think that right now we live in this world of entitlement, again, that everybody wants everything right now, right? And that's what we talked about. That's what this whole thing is, right? My kids wanted the beach in that moment. I want my Domino's. I want my DoorDash, my Instacart, right? And so that bleeds over into the fire department too. And so we want our training approved right now. We want everything in the budget there, July 5th, right? And so I think we should be a little empathetic to the whole process. And to me, the ranks that he talked about, that across the ranks, and I want to get back to that route. I don't know where the balloons came from. You're welcome. I didn't give a thumbs up. I gave air quotes for those listening. But I think that things is that sometimes we across the fire service are truly juggling Jello or diarrhea. Either way, there's a lot going through our hands every single day, right? I tell people that all the time. Most people don't realize it, right? You juggle that Jello or diarrhea on that scene, and you make the most of it every single day. I don't think
I'd ever call it diarrhea. It's always Jello. That's disgusting.
Well, I'm just saying, a lot goes through your hands, right? And you try to catch as much of it as you can and get through it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing at on the admin side. It's the same thing in a volley house. It's the same thing everywhere. We're literally all have the same goal.
I've got a piece of snail mail that'll tie into some of this.
All right. I've got, dude, I just lost my brain on what I was going to talk about, but
is it snail mail or mail?
Are you proud of me for bringing my mustache back? My wife is not.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
She's not.
Are we good on this one, or are we going to go to the hobby ones? What do you think?
No, I think we could probably go to snail mail and call it a day, but we'll do the hobby one next week. We'll just do a little sneak peek. Is my thing about hobbies is just have one, and it kind of ties into what we're talking about today is having balance. You know what I mean? And the one thing I was going to kind of finish off with this episode was what Doug said, and you did it to yourself. Right. And so if you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I got this, and this, how many times could I have been like, no, I already have too much. No, I already have this. No, I already have that. Right. And those things are tugging at you all the time. Right. And we can look at our own lives and we can think of the things that we've signed up for that are extra, curricular activities. I mean, Doug, even off duty, right? Doug can say, I'm a coach. Like, do I have to do that? No, I don't have to do that. If that's jeopardizing my family, then yeah, that's maybe one thing I can give up or something else, right? So you did it to yourself. I think that was perfectly said. And the last thing was I was talking to one guy one time and he pulled his phone out of his pocket and he looked down, somebody was calling him and he hit decline and he put it back in my pocket and I go, hey, you can take that if you want. And he goes, why would I tell you that this guy is more important? Why would I tell you that this conversation with this guy on this phone is more important than what you and I are talking about right now? And that just stuck with me. And so now unless it's like Kelsey calling at a weird time during the day, if I'm talking to somebody or making, conversation or whatever it might be, it doesn't even have to be a meeting, Brian. It's just like a conversation with a guy and somebody's calling me and I look at my phone and I hit decline because I love that notion of like, why, like you're important to me or else I wouldn't be talking to you. You know what I mean? Like, why would I have to take this phone call unless it's something important? But there's always those exigent, circumstances, but that's kind of how I wanted to end it.
I love it. And I think it's super important. I do my best to try to ignore text messages and everything else when I'm in meetings and phone calls the best that I can. Like I said, I may glance at it, just see who it is, and then, hit the old Apple iWatch. Can I call you later? Whatever. But try to be, present in that moment. We owe it to them.
Yeah. So, Rodney, I hope we answered your question, dude. Can you discuss the difference with the levels of rank and duties within that sometime? And so I think that a big, void from what we were talking about in that episode about talking about our wives and everything was what Brian nailed today. And Brian talked about, the chief duties. And just because we go home at 5:00 doesn't mean that we have to, our phone turns off. And I think that, Brian, I think you did a good job at giving some understanding on that front. So very good. Rodney, let us know how we did.
Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah. Let's do snail mail.
It's snail mail time.
All right, snail mail. First things first, we will get to that other. Can you please make an episode about fire department hobbies? We'll get to that. That was from Squawk on Spotify. I just wanted to let everybody know, okay, in the podcast community here that we've got, that Travis responded and said, "Haha, I was absolutely joking, Matt." Okay, because I was making sure that he didn't think that I really hated volleys. Freaking Adam's got this whole thing going because now it started to talk about it on Patreon that Matt hates volleys. But he said he loved the Trump voice on the promo. Did you listen? You probably didn't listen to it, Doug.
Every time.
Every time.
I'm going to be honest. It could be better.
That was terrible. I know a department that takes a pic after every structure fire. It is if it is a firefighter first fire, it gets framed and so if it's their first firefighter fire, I got you. And every member signs it and he takes it home. That's cool. But again, like Travis didn't talk about posting it on social media. So Daddy-O. We got a guy named Daddy-O here. His picture is a picture of a turnout coat, so he must be a fireman. Hey guys, I am from the Ottawa region of Ontario, Canada. Love you guys. I have been paid on call for 26 years. I was part of a fairly busy volunteer and paid on-call department in my yearly years. I was faced with many deaths and bad calls. Last year, I was diagnosed. Oh man, I just lost it. Last year, oh my gosh, where is it? I was faced with many deaths. Last year, I was diagnosed with PTSD. And then he replied to his own comment and said, in 2002, the fire department I was in started doing after call meetings. So maybe like post-incident debriefs to see if we had issues, but it wasn't the best as no one ever wanted to voice any issues. So we've talked about that, right? We talked about mental health and the stigma and that guys didn't want to look weak. But then he says, but now it's taken a lot more seriously. Thanks for taking the time and sharing your views and thoughts. I'm going to keep being a regular follower. Have a great day and stay safe. So, Daddy-O, thank you for the comment, dude. Super, super important to take care of yourself. That you recognize that you had an issue, you got diagnosed with PTSD, and then I hope that you're doing things for yourself intentionally that keep you healthy and sane.
And thanks for listening in Canada.
Yeah.
Canada. Can I chime in on the Take the Picture episode? So in our group chat, I sent where a local department shared a screenshot of a response, of a citizen's response, or the chief responded to a citizen response of a emergency response and then canceled. Do y'all remember that in the group chat?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I'm not going to name any names. You can go find it. But anyways, only thing I want to say to that is that just be careful. Be careful in what you do, how you say it. That was a prime example of framing a response and what you say. It's just, it's all in how your PIO can message and handle citizens' concerns.
Some clarity on that. It was a unit responding with lights and sirens that got canceled en route, and they turned the lights off and went back to driving normal.
Yep. And then they stopped at the grocery store, and the person went inside and took a picture of them at the fruit stand or at the vegetable stand.
The assumption was that they were running lights and sirens to the grocery store.
Yeah. And of course, we all know that was not the case, but then they didn't know the backstory, and then the chief went on to defend it. And of course, the entire fire service is like, of course, that's what we do. And anyways, long story short, whether or not you screenshot the person's response or not, and I'm not debating how the chief handled it. I'm just saying there's a lot of social media campaigns. I think K-Bill would chime in on this. Social FD, let me know if you're listening. You're going to love this comment. Sometimes you can educate the public before it ever happens, right? The PIO, if they can do their work, they'll say, have you ever seen a truck drive emergency traffic and turn their lights off? Why? Right? How many times has that ever happened? Yeah. And that would be a good way to get in front of it before it happens. So, not saying that it would have avoided such, but then if someone tagged them in it, you could have gone back and shared that original post with them and not necessarily had to respond. That's all I was going to say.
Okay. I'll just end Snail Mail with the same topic since we're on it. I just want to make sure that I didn't miss really anybody on. Quinn did write in that my dad would probably pee himself if he ever saw a snake, even if it was smaller than an ant.
So I had to call that out.
Yeah, I want to make sure he got in there because I know he'll hear that. So
I don't mind.
And so then just finishing on the comment that we had made on. So this is on TikTok. I figured we got a lot of responses on here, so I'm going to just read a couple. And this is in regards to taking the photo and posting it. One guy said, "Take the photo and don't post it on social media." There, simple. Another guy says, "Having a clear media policy is helpful, but nothing beats common sense and decency." I love that, dude. Common sense and decency, dude.
That's it right there.
Yeah, great. That was a great comment. And then weird, nobody replied to it because it's a good comment. And then stop taking pictures on scene, period. No exception. You are dealing with people at bad time in their life. Have some respect.
No.
Yeah.
Wrong.
There's 100% nothing wrong with group photos, says Bobby Eugene.
Take the picture, man.
But we were talking about posting it on social media also. You know what I mean? So good. I think everybody, the common denominator on the comments was don't post a picture of yourself in front of a house on fire, right, on social media. So there you go. That's the feeling around the world, if you will, in the fire service. So that's good. We got a good perspective there. I love it. Actually, something positive comes from social media. What do you know?
How about that?
Yeah. Last things last, guys. Thanks. Great episode. I think that you nailed it, Brian. I think you did a great job in explaining, giving a good understanding of the 9-to-5ers and how, those firewives have the same BS that all of this, other guys that work 24 to 48 hours do. And you know what, to be honest, it's not easy, right? Life ain't easy. Even if you're a corporate guy and you're working 9 to 5 or you're working 12-hour days, it doesn't have to be a first responder. This just happens to be a first responder podcast, folks. Yeah. We can't do it all, right? So great episode. Next week, we'll talk about hobbies and activities, I think, and Patreon perks. So the only way to get into that wheel of names for the Patreon perks is to become a engineer tier subscriber at $2. $2, folks. I think it's $2.07 with
better
taxes.
sign up quick.
Better sign up quick. We're going to have a good box for you coming from Little Firefighter Quinn and his dad at Little Station 5. So we're looking forward to that, and that'll be exciting. So anything from the rest of y'all's?
So I told you I had a funny story. So I saw this TikTok. I'm going to show you the end of it.
Okay. Oh, geez.
I sent it to my softball team on Wednesday. I said, if y'all win the tournament this weekend, for July 4th, y'all can dye my hair however you want to.
They won.
They won.
They went 5-0 and won the fucking tournament. Sorry, Rhett. So I'm waiting now that kid's little brother has a mohawk and he did the same thing. So I'm waiting now. I asked them, I said, do you want me to buzz it or do you want it mohawk? Y'all can do it. I'm going to dye it Slim Shady yellow or blonde or whatever. We're going to design it Friday night at the hotel because we're going to Roanoke for a tournament.
So the question is, does Patreon get to see it?
Absolutely.
Okay, there it is.
Dude, I love that, Brian. So you'll get exclusive behind-the-scenes Doug hair dyeing footage if you are an engineer subscriber for $2.07 a month.
Live from the Spark by Hilton, Daleville in Roanoke, Virginia.
So how are you going to do that at work? You're just going to put a hat on? Or what are you
I work Wednesday, and then Thursday, next Wednesday I work, and then Thursday I'm going to cut it and dye it, and then I'm going to go back to work and then I'll probably just cut it down after the tournament. Skin tight.
Very good. I can't wait to see pictures and videos.
It's going to be great.
They're not going to incorporate your mustache, though.
No, I told them, I said, I wish I'd started regrowing my mustache sooner because you could have dyed my mustache. My wife was like, well, it's plenty of white in it. I was like, you are not helping.
I think it should be red, white, and blue. That's what I think.
There you go.
America.
All right. Very good. Who wants to roll us out?
Roll it, Gigi.
Roll it, Gigi.
Before you leave, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and give these firemen a huge thumbs up. Also, make sure you check out the coolfireman.com for more. Thanks!